Gentlemen, we got a super hype series. No, this is not the actual score right now, but it is going to be from the losers round 2. Give it up for these two guys, puCK versus Neeb. Can we get a more hype matchup? Okay, it looks like they accidentally had the wrong race on one of them. But okay, puCK versus Neeb. Two amazing Protoss players. Two players that I think are very skilled in PvP specifically. Their disruptor control out of this world good. And of course, taking a look at their match history against each other. Well, first of all, take a look at that match. Look at that win rate for puCK's PvP. Granted, it's only crossed recently 19 games. 84% win rate. Holy cow, Brandon. Calm down, man. Take a step back, because you're doing a little bit too well lately. Neeb sitting at 66%. Actually, apparently not one of his stronger matchups, according to recent win rates on Aligulac. Taking a look at their history against each other, Neeb has been a little bit more dominant lately, but, you know, puCK has taken some series here and there. Back in 2016, a lot of these series are fairly old. We're hopping onto Sequencer for game number 1. We'll see you guys there. Here we are in game number 1 from the losers round 2 in a matchup that I think a lot of people would have thought would have happened in the winners bracket, if anything. Two astoundingly good players. We start up here in the top right-hand corner of the map, atop the red Protoss player known as the God amongst men, the literal god, the best player in North America, one would have thought. Give it up for Ting's Neeb. And his opponent, spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, the blue Protoss player from OSC Root, renowned for his Blink Stalker control and his disruptor play. Give it up for puCK. By the way, big shout out again, as always, to Nice Username, because I always get a lot of compliments on those beautiful, beautiful map intros that Nice Username made, and I'm so happy. I have a full set of all 7 now. It's like a collectible card game, but I have all the cards now, so I don't give a damn about collecting anymore. Beautiful. But okay, PvP. What a fun matchup. We do have already slight deviations in the builds. We got double Stalker opening from puCK, whereas Neeb going for the double Adept opening. Also really interesting to see just the progression of PvP meta, where a lot of players used to wall off over the ramp, because that was the easiest way to prevent your opponent's Adepts from just easily walking straight up. You could just go for a nice little block with either your own Adept, or even just planting on a pylon to prevent them from shading on forward. But Neeb should be able to make his way across the map. Sequencer, a map that has a few different pathways if you wanted to take a more roundabout path to his opponent's side of the map. And ooh, you might actually be able to do exactly that. puCK is going to encounter the two Adepts, but sees that they shade forward over to the right. Well, or at least should know that they shaded forward in a different direction than he was expecting. So he's retreating back. He'll be able to get here back in time to help deal with the Adepts, but the Adepts may actually be able to get inside the mineral line. Namely, what you want to do as Neeb in this situation, if you've gone for the double Adept openings, you want to either get at least 2 worker kills minimum. You want to get a scatter on your opponent's tech. You want to see if they go Stargate, did they go Twilight Council, did they go Robo. But Neeb's not getting any of that right now. He's seeing the double Stargate, which is okay. And ooh, might even be able to catch the Stalkers out in the middle of the map, but really, he's the one being caught. He has 3 Adepts here now, so he has a little bit of an advantage, but the Stalkers do outrun the Adepts. Don't outrun the Adept Shades. But, okay, puCK's gonna end up losing that one Stalker. He should be able to get out of here alive with the second one, though. Seems like Stalkers 2 and 3 also joining the fray. just grouping up to make sure he has some defensive mechanisms. But both these players lose one of their early units. Technically costs a little bit more for puCK to lose that Stalker versus the Adept. But small little trades in the middle of the map, small skirmishes, and we have both these players going for the Robo very quickly, getting out a very quick Warp Prism. The only deviation now that we see is that the Twilight Council coming out for Neeb, whereas we have the Gateway coming out for puCK. So puCK going up to 3 Warp Gates is going to be able to get out slightly larger production. You can maybe move in with a much larger Stalker army, and I won't say Blink Stalker, but it is kind of Blink Stalker. Oh, warping in 3 sentries as well. Oh, is puCK going to do what I think he's going to do? I think he's going to go for a big elevator up into the main base of his opponent. Although these Adepts... Oh, force out the touch and overcharge. Very nicely done. Canceling at the absolute last second. Really making it look like he was going to commit there. But puCK is looking to get aggressive. And Neeb... Oh, Neeb is going for the Hidden Dark Shrine. But that's a big... I mean, it's not a massive sunk cost. It's still a lot of gas to invest into this. 150 gas. That's not going to be invested into the army. And in the meanwhile, puCK is going to try, drop a bunch of the sentries, force field the ramp, elevator the Stalkers up to the main base, and catch Neeb by surprise. Neeb does have a pylon over here that might actually catch wind of this, though. Hallucinated Phoenix not catching wind of anything. There's the pylon. Stalkers immediately start attacking that pylon, but none of the sentries have been unloaded over here. Stalkers actually focus firing on the Warp Prism. He gets so close to killing it off. A lot of the Stalkers end up losing their lives as well to the Photon Overcharge because the Warp Prism can't get close enough to safely pick them up. And this has not been a successful attempt from puCK. He loses a decent chunk of his units. 3 Stalkers go down. Warp Prism nearly dead, and he's going to leave with his tail between his legs. And now Neeb finishing up that Dark Shrine, has his own Warp Prism out on the map, ready to warp in some DTs. Where is the Observer for puCK? He's got one out. It's on the other side of the map. He's making Immortals right now. Oh my god, this could be the worst case situation. Is this going to be an instant GG? If Neeb goes after the pylon powering the Robo, there's only one pylon over here. Oh my god. Okay, 1 DT going to walk its way into the natural. 1 DT going to unload inside the main base. puCK supply blocked right now in a weird way that allows him to immediately... Okay, he has another pylon also repowering this Robo, so the DT is going to be best off going after some probes. Nice force field, locks down one of the DTs out of position. Hold positions also on the warp the DT. The other one in the main base is going to get picked off very shortly as the Observer will be popping out. Robotics still getting worked away at. puCK should eventually react to this. Such an overcharge comes out, deals with that. And DT in the natural. Killing off 11 workers so far. Oh my god. 36 to 58 workers. puCK does have a 3rd expansion on the way, but so does Neeb. And it's just a straight up advantage for Neeb. He's got a higher army supply. He's got still also the DT tech, but he's also getting out his own, well, his second Robo. Okay, yeah, he does have his robotic spade done. Disruptor number 1 is already out for Neeb. There's not a lot of ways that puCK can actually come back in this if Neeb doesn't make any mistakes. Just because when you're down in every regard, you are relying on outplaying. I won't even just say it as making a mistake. It's outplaying your opponent. You have to outplay your opponent in some way, shape, or form. Whether it be in disruptor control, whether it be in doing some harassment with your own Warp Prism and catching your opponent out of position, whether it just be taking a risk and getting away with it unpunished. You have to do something your opponent is not catching wind of. But it's hard when your opponent's going for these Phoenix Scouts to do anything too sneaky, to get away with a whole lot. But Stargate does come out behind this for Neeb very, very quickly. Double Robo production with a Stargate also coming out. I imagine for the Oracle to get those revelations down, but I have seen some Protoss players get into that kind of Void Ray meta. I think it was I haven't seen too many PvPs lately because I mostly watch North American StarCraft, and there's only 4 really, really strong North Americans. Bales, puCK, Neeb, and Peely. And they don't actually hit each other that often. So you don't get to see too many of the high-level PvPs. But I know the Void Rays were in the meta for a while. Getting out 6-7 Void Rays. Adding it in with the army. Obliterating your opponent's stalker count. Making it hard to blink on top of disruptors. But both these players do have double disruptor production. Neeb has a slight disruptor edge, and it seems like he wants to move out and take advantage of that. But when you deal with disruptor versus disruptor armies, especially on a map as big as Sequencer, there are big defenders' advantages. Having 2 additional disruptors on your opponent, but they have to rally across the map, giving your opponent time to get their own 2 disruptors out. It's a big deal. It makes this a lot more even for puCK. He doesn't quite have the same stalker count. Oh, no, actually he has a bit of a stalker lead right now. Excuse me. Seems like the main advantage really isn't just the economy. There's 1 immortal in favor of Neeb right now, but overall, this really is a rather even fight. Oh, first disruptor goes out for puCK, and he actually gets 2 of the disruptors, but blink forward, even kills some of his own stalkers, but gets another disruptor in the mix. Loses a few more. Neeb might have to back out over here. puCK takes a pretty good set of trades. Defends his 3rd. Oh, loses 2 disruptors though. Neeb coming in from the high ground. That revelation adds in so much. puCK out for blood. He's used blink though. He cannot easily escape for any additional disruptor shots. Kills a disruptor and doesn't end up. Okay, well, he's gonna lose 1 more disruptor. I think Neeb's been getting the better end of these trades. Yeah, 3 for 4. Well, wait a second. Oh, hold that thought. Neeb has lost 4 disruptors. puCK has only lost 3. Just slightly better trades, but oh, okay. Cancels out the disruptor shot, but utilizes his blink and escapes out of there alive. Loses a few stalkers in the process. Loses 2 disruptors over there. Now evened up 5 to 5. But Neeb has 3 disruptors with his army! Okay, he has 1 disruptor with his army. Oh my god, puCK. Like I said, he's known for his disruptor control. He's doing a fantastic job. He's taken maybe 1 or 2 pretty bad hits, but despite that, I feel as though puCK has been getting slightly better trades. Oh god, ring around the rosy. Who's gonna encounter who first? Stalker for Neeb, scouts out the army for puCK. Neeb knows where the army is. Disruptor's gonna be throwing out a couple of these shots. Stalker's blink forward. He hits a big disruptor shot to the face, but he's focus firing down all these disruptors. puCK needs a big disruptor hit. He's not gonna be able to find it. He loses all of his stalkers for almost for naught. And the stalkers for Neeb also get into a nice location. The big run around. He takes advantage of the stalker lead. 1 DT actually gonna be able to do some nice damage. Blink stalkers. Oh, they blink and a nice split up over there. Neeb's gonna be able to get out of here alive with these disruptors. But Neeb sees it. Neeb sees the disruptors. He's not gonna be able to pounce on it. Oh, he was expecting the big blink down. I like that he was trying to preempt that, but now he has to deal with this, and I just don't know if he's got it in him. Okay, kills 3-4 stalkers. I think blink may have been on cooldown for some of them. Some of the workers now going to be falling. puCK is under attack from both sides by some pretty scary looking army. 2 DTs in the mix, but that is not going to be enough. GG gets called. Neeb takes game number 1 in an insanely action-packed PvP. Okay. If you say that puCK just got crazy outplayed, oh man, you know, that was a one-set. No, you were not watching the same game I was. Even though I think Neeb did a really good job of securing a lead early on and relatively maintaining it, puCK made that look so close. puCK made that look like it could have turned on a dime. Really, really solid. Well, we get ready to hop into game number 2. It's going to be on Abyssal Reef. Yeah, we'll see you guys there without any further delay. Here we are in game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, we have the red Protoss player from Ting sitting up 1-0 in this best of 3. Give it up for Neeb. Apparently ripped headphone users at the end of that game. And spawning up here in the top left-hand corner of the map, the blue Protoss player from OSC Roots. Still got a chance in this series, but has to win this game. And the next, come back and keep his hopes alive in WCS NA Challenger. Give it up for puCK. And puCK is definitely a momentum-based player, and oddly enough, he's a momentum-based player, but he also does very well in scrappy games. I think that's one of his strongest points in his play. So, oddly enough, if there's one thing I've got to say, I think Neeb does okay with. Neeb is really, really excellent when you have big armies and very large battles. He gets to play his kind of perfect game. He's also very good at defending and making use of a small number of units in that kind of normal situation. But when Neeb gets taken to weird positions, I do feel like, not necessarily that he's bad, I don't even feel like it's fair to call it a weakness. It's just, he's not god tier in that level, in that kind of play style. He's not god tier at really weird games. He's good, but it's not the same level as a lot of his other play. And I feel like if puCK can take it into that kind of game, that's where he finds a lot of strength. Of course, PvP also a game that's very easy to make into a very scrappy, I guess, kind of game. We do have a double stalker opening from both sides. Ooh, Neeb, are you going to try and proxy something? Is he going to proxy a Stargate? No. Cybernetics core is already finished up, so he would have thrown down a pylon much earlier on if it was going to be a proxy Stargate. It may just be yet another proxy Dark Shrine if he decides to go for something later on. Still no pylon, though, so this may even just be kind of waiting around and hiding that probe out on the map. But back at home, Neeb plays very defensive with his stalkers, doesn't move out on the map almost at all, and moves in, tries to scout out the third, looks like. Or I should say, try and move in from the third, most likely to scout out the natural, but gets caught by puCK's really nice positioning on these stalkers, completely denying any sort of scouting information, besides the fact that there are 4 stalkers out on the map, that this was a stalker opening once again from puCK. puCK also goes for the sentry, so he's going to have that guaranteed scout later on. Also goes for the robo, and goes straight into that Twilight Council. Whereas, oh, Neeb goes for the proxy pylon. Oh man, is he going to throw down a gateway? No, warping in 2 stalkers. This is just 2 gateways worth of production, though. He's adding on a robo, sure. Is he just gonna move? This is so weird. This is gonna be a very abnormal number of stalkers attacking very early on. puCK is also invested into these sentries, so he needs good force shields or guardian shields. Does catch 2 of these stalkers for free. Hasn't lost any of his. Okay, he lost 1 stalker of his own, but was it worth the sentry force shield energy? Yeah, he's gonna have 2 more force shields very soon. And with Photon Overcharge, I think this is gonna come out much better for puCK than Neeb. Oh, gets very close to sniping off that sentry, but really nice micro. Kills off another stalker. puCK takes a very solid lead in this game. Another Photon Overcharge can come out. He has to be careful. Oh, Adept's gonna shade into the main base. Might not have that Photon Overcharge available at the natural anymore. As looks like maybe 3 or 4 workers will get killed off. Adept shade over to the natural. Immortal also going to appeal to push these guys back. At the end of the day, yeah, Adept should be able to be killed off. 5 workers killed is definitely not too shabby. Neeb does take a bit of a worker lead now, but puCK definitely got the better trades in the army. He got out an Immortal as well, a little bit faster, whereas Neeb got out that Observer. Neeb definitely a player that oftentimes likes to rely more on the vision, I feel like, in PvP than some other Protoss players out there who like to just rely on bulk number of units, get out more disruptors over observers, or getting out oracles for revelation. Does puCK know that there's a proxy pylon? Did he sense that, or know that this kind of build often relies on proxy? It doesn't look like he's going to look too hard for it. goes for the hallucinating Phoenix Scout, as he had to wait a little bit for the energy to build up for that. But once he moves in, he's going to be pretty happy scouting out all of the gateways that are going down. He's going to know, okay, you're not going for some super fast second robo. You're not going to a really quick robotics bay. You're not crazy fast rushing disruptors. So I can play my game. Maybe he has to be a bit wary about a big gateway attack. I think that's going to be the big scare. But puCK and Blink Stalker control is something to be feared. Even a player like Neeb can sometimes get caught a bit out of, not out of position, but off guard by how good that control can be and how good an engagement puCK can take with well-positioned Blink Stalkers. The scary thing about puCK, and Neeb does this too, but it's that when he has Blink and Stalkers and he has the War Prism out, he doesn't just micro back with the Blink Stalkers. He also micros back with the Stalkers that are on cooldown, picks them up with the War Prism and drops them. So it's almost like every single Stalker has a second Blink, but Blink is also useful for not only aggressive Blinks forward, but also you can just Blink into a slightly better position. You don't always want to be dropped off back where the War Prism is. It can be very far back, a little bit too far back to get back into the fight. But okay. This is the big army for Neeb. He's got that exactly what he wants. It's 7 warp gates to 4. And puCK is going to be relying on, I guess, the economy from that much faster third, but he's not going to have much of a kickback from that just yet. Army supply is relatively even, but it's going to come down to the fact that all of these big warpins are going to be just slowly inching Neeb further and further forward on army supply. Collision Overcharge is going to be of the utmost importance. Guardian Shield and Force Fields could be very important as well. Depending on how far forward Neeb shades these Adepts, he actually could catch, if he shades too far forward with the Adepts, Force Fields can lock out the Immortals in the army and allow allow puCK to take a better engagement. But oh god, all these Adepts just gonna make their way to the main base. Oh god, get out of the way, Space Shark. We got an awesome PvP in the mix. Okay, Photon Cannon plus a Photon Overcharge gonna be able to take care of some of these Adepts. Is it going to be fast enough? At the same time, Force Field's coming down, locking out a lot of these units. puCK buying some time, and he's got a lot of his army still over there. But the Photon Cannon at the natural expansion only going to be able to buy so much time. Takes out one of the Adepts. Other Adepts inside the main base have been cleaned up. Seems like puCK is actually doing a pretty good job of the engagement over here. I think he's taking a better end of the trade, but he's losing some of the workers over inside the third expansion. In conjunction with the Adepts doing more damage inside the natural expansion, puCK has to blink all the way back. He loses more focus fire down workers. Neeb has to back out of there, but he keeps a lot of the Immortals alive, which is important. puCK still has an Immortal lead, but he's now down 9 workers. Still has a third, but Neeb's does too. Can puCK just go for a big counterattack sometime soon? Take advantage of the fact that his Immortal count is a little bit higher. His Immortals pay for a lot. And especially when you start getting into the Robotics Bay being made. Well, Robotics Bay coming out for puCK, interestingly enough, not for Neeb. So puCK is going to play a bit more defensive a little longer. Maybe he'll get out. No, he does already have a Warp Prism out. So he can put some pressure on. Neeb has no idea about this. And I want to note, he does not have Blink just yet. He's researching it now. But puCK could hit with this really critical window where he has maybe 1 Disruptor out or 2 Disruptors out and faces off versus Neeb, who has either 0 or 1. Just that 1 Disruptor lead, even with the kind of rally across the map. But puCK is very quickly going to be falling behind just because it is going to be 1 Robo versus 2. Neeb is kind of in it for the longer haul with the double Robo production. Whereas puCK is getting started on his a good bit later. So I think that overall, all the small little advantages in this game, it's going to start to even out. The one nice thing that puCK does have going for him is the fact that he has +1 weapons finish. May not seem like a big deal, but these Stalkers, killing off those Disruptors, you never want a situation where that Disruptor survives after you blunk forward, Disruptor shot's already out, it's about to kill all your Stalkers, and you think you're about to kill the Disruptor, and it survives with 5 to 10 hit points left over, and you just think, man, if I had +1 weapons, that'd be a dead Disruptor. If I had 1 more Stalker, that would have been a dead Disruptor. Well, Adept killing off, oh god, 32 workers killed this game. I do like that puCK keeps throwing down these photon cannons at his bases, though. It buys a lot of time, and not just that, but if your opponent can still focus fire down workers to kill them off, but it forces an extra bit of APM. You can't just shade your adepts in and kind of set them and leave them. Shade in and just say, okay, cool, they'll kill some workers. You have to focus fire down your opponent's workers. Otherwise, they're going to waste a lot of time killing a photon cannon. Fourth expansion is going up for both of these guys, and we're getting to another macro game. Man, we've had so many macro games today. In puCK versus, or sorry, Bales versus Semper. You had Semper versus M. Canning. A lot more macro games. Granted, that game number 3 was not a macro game by any means. We got some cool PvP macro games here as well. Oh, puCK gonna have a slight little edge in terms of the timing on this. Sends out a first disruptor shot. It's gonna be 3 versus 4. puCK's sending out both of his disruptors. Oh, loses one disruptor, interestingly enough, not the most forward one. Oh, because puCK is busy dealing with the adept harassment and a double immortal drop. DT should be able to eventually clean this up and push this back, but definitely taking some damage. We're up to 36 workers killed, but also some lost mining time that's going to be very annoying. Fast worker pills from puCK, though. Didn't lose too much. Am I going to lose a few more? Oh, that's so annoying. Disruptors getting very close to killing each other once again. Oh, puCK has a lot of sentries on the forefront. But Neeb not sending out any shots and loses quite a few stalkers over there as he's busy microing that warp prism that has some of the immortals in the mix. Oracle able to throw down a good revelation. And this is where I think it's going to be the end of the line for puCK in terms of pushing forward through this angle. He's going to have to move up over to the fourth expansion. Uses blink to blink forward. I don't know if he can outrun the disruptor shots anymore. One disruptor shot goes off, killing off, and then not actually as much as you would think. Killing off or doing some damage on the immortals. Big blink forward. He goes after one disruptor, doesn't go after the rest of them. And really even trades on both sides. We have 15 to roughly 15 stalkers. Need warp in a few more stalkers, but it's also 6 disruptors alive for puCK to 3. puCK has that slight disadvantage in the sense that he does not have the revelations coming down. Now the revelation being thrown down on top of some of the units, even catching the observer, which is nice. But that worker lead definitely going to Neeb. Fourth expansion mining a little bit more healthily for Neeb. It's more than healthily. 30 worker saturation. Overdoing it just a little bit. Still dead even army supply. 89 to 89. Oh, there's another beautiful revelation. puCK still has the high ground, or had the high ground for a moment, so it's not too bad of a situation in terms of vision for him. He does have a harder time catching wind of this army. Oh! Oracle gets picked off. Nice pick off over there from Neeb, but both of these players now have revelation down. Oh, puCK's very clumped up with these disruptors. Has to be so careful. Revelation thrown down specifically on the disruptors. That's what you want to get the revelations down on. It's nice to get it on the stalkers, but the big thing is that you want to get it on those disruptors. Ooh, nice kind of spread over here from puCK. See what we can make happen with it. Not a whole lot. Once again, a bit of a stalemate. Stargate coming down for Neeb. Maybe getting ready to transition out. Is it going to go into carriers, or is it going to be the Tempest play? I've seen both. Oh! 2 disruptors get killed off. 3rd disruptor gets killed off. Neeb getting some really, really big wins here. puCK might even be on cooldown on both of his disruptors. Okay, this disruptor's on cooldown. This disruptor is still alive. puCK does come in with a flank with 3, killing off one of them. Neeb takes a slight lead in disruptor count. And also has the double Stargate out versus just 1. So he can transition out a little bit faster. Oh, big blink forward, though. All of Neeb's disruptors are now on cooldown, but he gets a big kill on a lot of the stalkers. Was it worth it for puCK? Did he kill off enough of those disruptors? He does take a 2 disruptor lead. That he has 6 alive, so it's going to be hard for puCK to push in, but killing off the observer. puCK is also so far out of position now to defend his 5th expansion. That's immediately going to get canceled. There's a full wall off over here, so he's gonna be able to buy some time. Does he move his way back? Does he go back home? Surely he can't just let this army kill everything. I don't think he can. Is he gonna take this to a base trade? I don't know what to think about this. He's doing it. He's going after the robotics bay. He's actually going to be able to prevent more. Oh, loses a lot of stalkers to one of those disruptors. But these disruptors should be able to get some okay hits off. Pushing things back. No more disruptor production for Neeb. Oh, that's a beautiful connection. Neeb is also retreated on home. It seems like puCK feels a little bit more confident with this base trade. He's going after the robotic facility with some of these disruptor shots just to get some extra DPS. Doesn't quite finish it off, though. So those final disruptors are going to get in. Oh! Oh my god, that's almost all of the disruptors for puCK. So even though he got a really advantageous position in terms of killing off or shutting down disruptor production, he's now going to be sacrificing all of these units. This is just going to be way too much damage for puCK to suffer. I don't know if you can bounce back from this. All but 2 of the stalkers fall. 1 more stalker falls for the photon cannon at depths for the high ground. And Neeb is going to go for a victory charge across the map. 60 supply up. Only 8 of that in army or in worker supply. The rest of it all leading up in army. puCK has a couple of disruptors and a dream. It is very much going to be a dream at this point, because he has to get the most amazing disruptor connections. They're not going to connect. All the disruptor shots have been used. Only 1 disruptor gets killed off. And now Neeb is fearlessly going to be charging forward, taking out these photon cannons. Well, I guess he's a little bit wary. So another disruptor is going to be... Oh, it's still on cooldown. But Neeb he should just have this 5th expansion, mining healthily. Oh my god, the game turns around again! PvP. But this is the big investment. No more disruptors being produced for Neeb. But he's got carriers on the way. Mothership on the way. And can puCK actually deal with this? He's got 22 stalkers, technically in low numbers. These carriers can get killed off very quickly. Plus 3 weapon stalkers as well. If he hits a timing over here. There's only 2 disruptors out for... Oh my god! The best stasis trap I have seen in a long time. Disruptor's gonna push units back. He doesn't have to worry about disruptors killing his own units. These stalkers also gonna be... Oh my god! Blink is still gonna be on cooldown! These units are gonna still be on cooldown! And Neeb knows he kills off a massive chunk of stalkers! The carriers are gonna go uncontested if too many more stalkers go down. Okay, but that's a good hit for puCK. Again, he's still sitting so far behind. Stalkers coming in to reinforce on the flanking position. Disruptors for puCK going down. Those are his last remaining hope. GG gets called. Neeb takes the 2-0 in a close fought battle for puCK. Neeb is going to move on to the losers round 3. Congratulations. Do apologize for that little crackle sound. But what a sick series. Give it up to both puCK and Neeb, showing some fantastically, amazingly awesome PvP games. puCK got so close to turning that around. Oh my god, Poison, thank you so much for telling me. Peely versus Jon Snow is now over. 3-2 in favor of Jon Snow, who I think is sitting a little bit stronger. Peely not actually feeling to be in the greatest form right now. But awesome that he's able to take Jon Snow to a game 5. God, I love those two. If there was one series I wish I could cast at any given moment, you give me like Beyond versus Dark versus Peely and Jon Snow. I'll take Jon Snow versus Peely every day of the week. Every day of the week. I love watching those two play. Just such an awesome rivalry. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for that series. We're going to look to see how many more series we have left over. I think we still have a decent number. Let's see. Neeb now losing to losers round 3. I think that he has one more series to play today. He's going to play versus, let's see. I believe he plays versus either the winners from Semper, Peely. Yeah, I think he plays versus the winner of Semper versus Peely. And the winner of that is going to go on to a qualifying match. So thank you so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be back in a little bit with more StarCraft WCS NA Challenger action.